Hello and welcome to Royal Reviewer Live Chat. Uh, Let me introduce myself. I am the Royal Reviewer and I run the YouTube channel. Um, Hopefully we're going to have lots of viewers tonight. I did put it out on Facebook that we were going to do a live chat at this time, 10 p.m. GMT time, which I do every single week. So hopefully you can join me. The format is the same as every week. Say hi and leave a question or a comment or a suggestion in the chat box below. So as always, I'm going to start off tonight's chat box. And I'm going to put a very simple hello. So if you've just joined us, please say hello, introduce yourself, and basically just ask me any question. No topic on the royal family is off limits. As always, I never know what questions are going to be put to me, so it's always on the spot answers, which I think helps to keep everything really real. It can be, you can ask me a question about the past or what you think is going to happen in the future. You could talk about what's been in the content of my videos this week. Anything you want. It's your live questions and chat session. So please, let's kick it off. So let's have a look who's viewing. So if you're viewing, please say hi. And I'm going to put in the chat box, ask me your questions. We had a really good chat session last week. I had some really interesting questions, really, and we had a really good discussion. Unfortunately, we had some technical trouble, which meant that my phone kept logging off because I'm filming it on a camera phone, and I've got my laptop by me so I can read the questions. So if, in the eventuality that it does cut off, don't worry, I will always try and get back onto chat. It does mean, though, that I will have to reboot my phone, which can take 3 or 4 minutes to log back on. So please don't go anywhere, just sit patiently and I will be back. Hopefully this week we won't have any technical troubles and everything will go really smoothly. So do I have a first question? Who wants to be my first questioner? Quite a few things have happened this week. We've had the death of Diana's stepmother, that's Princess Diana, or Diana, Princess of Wales, as she later became. Her stepmother, Reign Spencer, has died. That was only a couple of days ago, so that's still really fresh in the media at the moment in the UK. The funeral has yet to be arranged, so we're still waiting for some details on that, about when it will be and where it will take place. And of course it will be very interesting to see who, or if any, of the royal family will attend the funeral. It was always in the press that Princess Diana had a bit of an up and down relationship with her stepmother. However, there were lots of letters exchanged that have come into the media attention that show their relationship in a lot more of a positive way. Which I included one of those letters in my video on Reign's death. So if you haven't watched the video, look at the video and you will see a picture of one of those letters. So I believe the relationship was a lot more cordial and supportive than was previously thought. So, as we don't know what level of contact Reign had with Princes William and Harry after Diana's death, one can only assume that perhaps there was obviously Christmas cards sent, birthday cards and presents and that kind of cordial relationship, but we don't know for sure if it was a full-on involvement in their life. So it will be very interesting and very telling about that relationship as to who attends the funeral, whether it's just one representative of the family or any, or whether Princes William and Harry will go. We don't know, and of course I will always bring you that news as soon as I know. So that's just talking a little bit about Reign's death, Reign Spencer. Of course, she had 3 husbands. So her middle husband was Diana's father. So she held quite a lot of titles, and Raine was also the daughter of novelist Barbara Cartland. She was the flamboyant novelist who later in life wore lots of pink chiffon and was parodied quite a lot. So, do we have any questions on that? And please don't be shy, say hi. I do always like to know that you're there. Even if you haven't got a question, please feel free just to say hello. I like to know that you're there. Also, in the news recently is the 50th anniversary of the Welsh Aberfan town anniversary of the mining disaster that they had 50 years ago, which is very poignant. It was attended by Prince Charles. I made a video on that as well. And he attended and planted a tree and made a speech and unveiled a plaque. The Queen, I think there was only probably 3 major times in the Queen's reign where her judgment has been questioned or where it's been deemed that she's made a mistake. And one of those times was 50 years ago when the disaster happened and the Queen didn't visit immediately. And there was a public outpouring of grief, very much in the same way that there was for Diana. And the Queen eventually did go and visit the Aberfan disaster and comforted all of the mothers. And she made contact with the mothers as a mother to a mother of these children that were lost. And ever since then, she's been back 4 times in the 50 years, and she has kept in contact with those families and that town and helped that connection go. Now, the Queen didn't attend the 50th anniversary, but she did send Prince Charles, who did an excellent job sending that message from the Queen and strengthening the links between that town and the royal family, because obviously Prince Charles will be king next, and any future anniversaries he will be the one attending. So I think that all went very according to plan and worked very nicely. So that was the Aberfan disaster 50th anniversary remembrance ceremony. A little bit of news about my channel. I have put all of the Royal Tour Canada videos into one video, so if you want to watch that again, you can just log on and all of the videos are under one video. I still have them separately on the channel, but if you want them all in one place, they are there. I didn't do any of the videos set to music that I said I was possibly going to do last week. I think I'm saving that for an event when there's lots and lots of pictures, so I can do 2 versions of the same video. So that's still on the back burner. Please, any suggestions for the channel, please let me know. Any questions? I still don't think I've had anyone in the chat say hi, so I'm wondering who's out there and who's watching. Please let me know. Hopefully this time, this 10 PM GMT time is still working for the majority of the viewers. As I've said in the past few weeks, it's always been a case of the America and Canada is pretty much 10 hours behind the UK. So it's sort of mid-afternoon, wherever you are, probably in America or Canada. Of course, it's 10 o'clock at night in the UK and this part of Europe. And I'm not sure what time in the other part of the world. So probably as you go to Australia or Asia, you're probably looking quite early in the morning. So hopefully everyone will get a chance to catch this chat. And if you can't catch it live, I always put the videos on YouTube, so you can always catch up. Or if the camera cuts off for you, you can always go back and look at the bits that you've missed. So I'm still waiting for some questions. I really do love your questions. It's quite exciting not knowing what question is coming, so please ask away. And also this week we had the denial from Prince Harry. He made a very public denial. Again, I made a video on this, so if you've watched the video, you'll know what I'm talking about. A newspaper, a very public, popular newspaper, a red top tabloid newspaper in the UK, made allegations saying that they had a source close to the Prince who'd said that he'd made these comments about soldiers. And of course, Prince Harry, having been a soldier himself, is very dedicated to the armed forces, and he created the Invictus Games, and he does lots and lots of work with the forces and ex-forces. So he was obviously horrified that these allegations were being made. He totally denied them. He issued a statement, which is very rare because usually when the press make things up, the royal family just sort of ignore it and they just carry on and regardless. But this must have really hit him in a personal spot because he felt he had to issue this statement. And of course the newspaper hasn't come clean with their source, so we are presuming that it was just a complete pack of lies made to just grab attention and grab headlines. The rest of the article was written positively, but it was just these allegations about what Harry had said, which obviously the newspaper can't substantiate. So we are discounting those comments as complete rumour and gossip. So that was that finished with. I'm not sure if the chat box is working, because I don't seem to have any questions. So I'm going to ask, can anybody see the chat box? Really don't appear to be getting any questions in. Again, the length of these chats completely depends upon how many viewers I get, what sort of questions I have. If the chat's really free-flowing, then I may go on for longer. I have done longer chats, as much as an hour and a half. I think the shortest one I've done is about an hour. But usually I'll stay on for at least an hour and taking your questions and answering them. But if there's not many people around, or I'm not getting lots of questions, then it's basically just me rambling on, which I don't want to do. So unless we get any questions or comments or involvement with the audience, I may have to end this video a little sooner. So I'm only presuming that maybe a lot of you might be out or busy, or that's absolutely fine, it doesn't matter. But there's no point in carrying on this particular chat session if there's no questions. Because the whole purpose of it is that I get asked all the questions. So, do I have any questions? The chat box, if you're wondering, should be below where you see me. So whatever box you see me in, whether you're on your phone or your laptop or PC or iPad or tablet device, there should be a chat box somewhere. So if you can't see it, just have a little look around and see what you can see. Upcoming very soon, we have the upcoming Caribbean tour for Prince Harry, which I will be following, much in the same way I did for the Duke and Duchess of Cambridge in Canada. So it'll probably be on a day behind, because obviously I have to wait until all the pictures come in and all the reports come in about what they are up to before I can start to piece it all together and make my own report. So it'll be about a day behind when I do that one. But I will try and do a video every day in the same way as the Canada tour, and then I will put all the videos together at the end. Okay, Nancy Wright says, good evening Nancy, and thank you for saying hi, you're the first. The chat box doesn't seem to be working. I wondered why I wasn't getting any chat. So now it knows. So Nancy says she had to reboot several times. So if you can't get through on the chat box, or literally I can't see your questions, please try and reboot. Maybe that's what the problem is. You need to reboot and then you can ask the questions. So Nancy, as it seems that you're the only person that I can see at the minute, do you have any questions? And have you seen what we've been talking about previously? If not, I can talk about those things again. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to wait because people might be rebooting. I usually wear black for these videos, but today I felt like wearing a bit of a brighter colour. Let me know what you think. Do you prefer the black, or do you think I should wear more colour in my videos? Okay, Nancy says, yes, she's heard my comments, so that's good. So even if you can't talk to me, you can hear me. So it looks like I may have to just keep rambling on until you've tried to refresh and you can chat with me again. So Nancy, please let me know what you thought about this week's videos, or what you'd like to see in the future, or any other comments. One thing I am really looking forward to is covering the royals over the Christmas period. Because obviously I wasn't making these sorts of videos last year, I missed the whole royals at Christmas period, and I'm really looking forward to doing that. I'd like to do some videos on the history of the royal family around Christmas time. I think probably starting as far back as maybe Queen Victoria and Albert, when they brought over a lot of the German traditions, such as the Christmas tree and those kinds of decorations, and also following the modern royal family's traditions. So I'd like to make some videos on those. And obviously there's Christmas Day and Boxing Day, where the royals go to church and they're seen. And then there's the Queen's annual speech to the nation, the Christmas Day speech, all of which I really am interested in covering and really excited to cover. So I will be covering a lot about Royal Christmas. Nancy Wright says, I recently ordered the Royal Cookbook from the library and just got word that it's in. I liked your idea about preparing a royal meal. I think I'll do the same and post a picture. Yes, please. I would love to see your efforts with the royal meal. I still haven't done that myself yet. I haven't quite picked what I want to do, but I am having a really good look through the cookbook and seeing what I think I can make. Nancy said she'd like to see videos about the history of the royal family. That's a great idea. Thank you. Some of my more popular videos are when I've just had an idea and investigated something myself, or about the royal family jewels, or about their houses, or historical figures. So I am aiming to do a lot more of that. It's just that recently there's been so much royal news, royal current news, that I've just basically spent my time covering that. So all of these engagements and royal tours, it takes up a lot of time when you're doing those videos. So I did start a series of videos on the royal jewels, which I really want to carry on with. We did one on the Victoria diadem, which is going up for auction. I did one on the tiara, and I really want to do more. And I also have an idea of doing lots of royal family profiles, so going back and taking a particular member of the family, even if it's a rather obscure member, and just basically doing a video on that person, a little bit like a mini biography. So eventually I'd build up a whole album of royal family portraits. So that's another idea that I really want to get stuck into, providing I have the time to do it. It's just that the royals have been so busy, which means I'm busy. Okay, Nancy says, speaking of houses, any word about Harry's possible purchase of a house? No, I keep checking back where I found out that the house was under offer, and it hasn't got sold yet. So I'm waiting for when it changes from under offer to sold, which means that it's definitely gone through. And then obviously we'll have to wait for the rumour mill to start, and wait for reliable sources to come in, and whenever I get such news I will let you know. Of course I will. Nancy Wright says, profiles are also a very good idea. Thank you. I'm definitely looking forward to doing some royal family profiles. I'm not sure who to start with though. I'm thinking the immediate family, so I'm thinking of getting one of those Buckingham Palace balcony photos, and sort of starting at the one end and moving my way across. So you will get some bit more obscure members, which will actually probably be quite interesting, because We do kind of tend to know a lot about the immediate family, but it's the cousins and the uncles and the aunts that are probably very interesting and that we'd want to know a lot more about. So I look forward to bringing you those when the opportunity presents itself. As I said, I'm readying myself for the Prince Harry tour, which will probably keep me very busy for at least a week. I think the tour is for a week when he does the mini Caribbean tour. Okay, so it still seems like Nancy is the only person in chat. Again, if you're trying to type on chat and you've sent something, I can't see it. I can only see Nancy Wright's posts. But she said that she reloaded the screen quite a lot of times and it did eventually work. So a tip from Nancy, reload your screen and see if that works. Okay, so if you've just joined me, I'm here to answer your questions. So please answer your questions in the chat box below. If the chat box isn't working, just reload or refresh and see if it works. Okay, Nancy says, what do you know about the royal finances and where does it come from? Do you mean the personal finances or just in general? It used to come from the civil list. So basically, a long time ago, the Crown estates were owned by the monarchy and they retained all the money from the Crown estates. Then that was surrendered to the state in exchange for the civil list payments. So the government would set an amount per year and that would be reviewed, say, every 10 years. And then that money would have to cover all the royal expenses. Since then, the state still keeps all the profits on the Crown estates, which the monarch holds in trust for the nation. However, there's a certain percentage of the profits on the Crown estate that go to the monarch, and that's worked a year or so behind. So, for example, what the Queen receives this year goes on what the estate made about a year ago. So that can now fluctuate up or down. Luckily for the monarchy, it's been going up. I think it's something like 17% or something like that. And it does derive a certain amount of income that the Queen retains to run the royal family and the royal household. She also is in possession of the Duchy of Lancaster, which the monarch always inherits. So Charles will get the Duchy of Lancaster when he becomes king, and that gives money for her personal money. But from that personal money, she pays for other members of the royal family, like her children, who perform the royal duties. So basically, from all of that money has to come the maintenance of the palaces, her own private homes, the cost of running the monarchy, the cost of putting up state banquets when she's required to do so, royal transport, travel, and any personal expenses. So you can see that when it comes to finances, everything's quite tight, and actually the royal family manage their finances really effectively. They control their finances a lot better and manage it a lot better than politicians do. We've had lots of scandals in the press over the last probably 5-6 years where MPs, members of parliament, have had their fingers in the trough, so to speak, and there's been expenses scandals, and the royals don't do that. They manage their finances really well. They don't try and exploit it, and basically you get value for money with how they control the royal finances. If it was just up to the MPs to do that, I'm sure the expenses would just skyrocket. They certainly wouldn't do it in an economical way. So basically that's where the money comes from. However, Prince Charles is slightly different. He controls his own finances through the Duchy of Cornwall. So the Prince of Wales, or the heir to the throne, always inherits the Duchy of Cornwall, which is a vast amount of land in Cornwall and the surrounding area. So he gets that money, and that finances his royal duties and his royal household. He also gives the money to William and Harry and Catherine for when they do their royal duties. So that's basically, in a nutshell, how the finances are worked out. So hopefully I've explained that a little bit more to you. Obviously there's a lot more depth to go into, but that really is in a very small nutshell. Vivian Martinez says, hello from Southern California. Which royals have full-time protection around the clock? It's basically all the royals that perform duties on behalf of the Queen. So obviously the main family get round-the-clock protection. And obviously a lot of the aunts and uncles live at Kensington Palace, so Kensington Palace has security anyway, and then the personal protection will be when they go off-site. Of course, William, Harry, Charles, Camilla, the Queen, Duke of Edinburgh, they all get full-time round-the-clock royal protection. And the rest would probably get it when they're out on duty, and there would also be protection around their houses. When it comes to, for example, Beatrice and Eugenie, I don't think they have round the clock. They don't do royal duties full time. And certainly ex-members of the family like the Duchess of York certainly don't, which is what Diana didn't have. And I think if Diana would have had that royal protection, perhaps the accident that killed her wouldn't have happened. So that's basically, again in a nutshell, about the royal protection. I am of course reading a book at the moment, I've nearly finished it, about Diana's royal protection. It was written by her bodyguard, whose name was Ken Worth. And it's, again, I've said it before, it's a really interesting book, and I think in years to come it will be one of those source materials that biographers refer to when trying to paint a balanced, accurate picture about the Diana period in history. So it's really good to be reading that at the time, pretty much when it happened. And obviously nearly 20 years later, but still in terms of history it's very recent and relevant. So do get that book, I wholly recommend it. Do I have any other questions? We have quite a lot of viewers. Please just say hi, even if you haven't got a question. Just say hi, I like to know that you're there. And so far so good with the technology as far as not cutting off. Fingers crossed we don't cut off. I'm just hoping the chat box is working for you. So 2 people have got through on chat, so if you want to try again, if you've tried before and you couldn't get through, try again and see what happens. So again, you could suggest to me what you'd like to see in upcoming videos, talk to me about videos I've done, or just basically anything royal. Please let me know. I'd also like to know where you're from, so if you're tuning in, please let me know what country you're from or what part of the country. If you didn't know already, I'm from England, and I'm situated almost in the middle of England in a county called Shropshire, which is fairly close to the Welsh border. So I'm not in London, in case any of you are thinking I'm in London. I'm about 4 hours away from London. So I'm just typing in the chat box hello again, just to see if that will kickstart anybody's chat session, maybe. It's worth a try. Nancy says, I'm from Boston. What is my name? My name is Elliot. So just in case you didn't know, my name is Elliot. So hello. Vivian says, who is in line to take over the Prince's trust once Charles becomes king? That's an interesting point. One would imagine it would be William, although nothing's actually been put forward in paper. We definitely know that Prince Edward, the Earl of Wessex, is going to take on the Duke of Edinburgh's charity, the D of E, but we're not entirely sure about the Prince's Trust. I'd imagine it will be connected to the Prince of Wales title eventually, and probably will most likely go to William to be the champion of. Although there's no reason why it couldn't go to Prince Harry. We will have to wait for that one. Good question, but there's nothing actually been set out there to say who. Annie Mercy says, "Hi Elliot, any word on any serious Prince Harry love interests?" And she's typing from New Jersey in the USA. Hello to everyone in the USA and anyone from New Jersey. Again, Harry's kept a very low profile when it comes to his love life. He's either being really, really protective and quite secretive, and he's managed to get away with it if he has been having any romance, because we certainly haven't heard about it in the press. I mean, of course, there's always rumours. There was the Ellie Goulding rumours, which they never seem to come to anything, so I don't think he has. Well, certainly not any serious love interests anyway. I think he's still looking, and I've said it before, I think he's looking for that right person who's able to take on the whole package. And there's not many people who probably would want to. Some people have got close to it and then probably backed off when they realise what's involved and that it's not just Harry they get the whole package. They just back off, and I don't think he has found anybody yet, and there's certainly nobody public anyway. Okay, Kezzy Pooch says, "Hello from Hampshire. Any thoughts of the Duchess of Gloucester? She has a low profile but seems hard-working and charming person." Yes, the Gloucesters are incredibly hard-working. Again, a branch of the Queen's cousins family. Duchess of Gloucester married into the family, and she does work incredibly hard. And of course she performs X amount of royal duties per year. I did do a video previously on the royal duties about who is the hardest working royal, and I think I did say exactly the amount of her engagements. I can't quite remember the exact figure, but if you go to that video, you will find the exact figure, that the amount of royal duties that she and her husband conduct each year, and it's actually quite high. I remember being quite surprised about how high it is, even though I can't remember the exact amount. And they do also have a home at Kensington Palace, in the same kind of, it's all like one self-contained palace, but it's split up into different apartments. So they have an apartment there. But yes, very hardworking, very charming, very down to earth, and probably someone that you'd like to go to dinner with, or you'd like to have at your dinner party. And I think probably one of the favourites of the Queen as well. So, good question, Kezzy Pooch. If you've got any other questions, please let me know. And that goes out to everybody. Again, just say hi if you haven't got a question, you just want to kick back and watch, just say hello. Okay, so the chat box does seem to be working now, so I think that's worked for a few people. Just refresh and try it. Okay. So I'm just waiting for some more questions to come in. Okay, Vivian says, the tabloids always refer to the relationship between Prince Philip and the Duchess of York as strained. Is this true? I believe that the Duchess embodies many qualities that the Duke of Edinburgh both likes and probably doesn't like. She certainly has that free spirit and that vivacious personality, very forward personality, which I think the Duke of Edinburgh can like about her, but she also has this knack of causing embarrassment or doing things that are going to get her the wrong kind of attention. And Whereas the Duke of Edinburgh likes fun and he likes being forward, and he's got that sort of that really fun personality. He keeps everything very professional, and I think that's where they have a little bit of a clash. The Duchess of York doesn't really have that filter. I don't think she's got necessarily that filter when it comes to a moral compass. She just goes and does whatever she does or says whatever she says, and there's no restraint, and there's not necessarily a lot of thought behind what she does. And I think that's probably where Prince Philip differs from her, if that makes sense. So I think on the one hand he does like her, but on the other hand he probably wishes that she'd just think a little bit more before she acts. And that's probably true of a lot of people. We all have our faults, and that probably is one of Sarah's faults, but also could be classed as one of her enduring qualities. It depends how you view it. So hopefully that's answered your question. I hope you've all had a really good week and enjoyed my videos. I do try and upload as often as I can. As I've said before, I do also have a day job, so trying to get in all the news stories and all the different ideas I have in my head that I'd like to do off my own back can sometimes be a struggle. So I always try to deliver at least one video every other day. Sometimes a bit like buses, all the videos arrive at one time. So sometimes I may just do a splurge of videos, and other times it might be a bit more drip fed. But I always endeavour to get videos to you, and of course the most important up-to-date stories. So hopefully you're enjoying them. I also really appreciate it when viewers share the videos, comment on them, press the like button. It always helps, particularly on things like social media. So when you share one of the videos and it gets put out there to more and more people, that also really helps to basically get the royal message that I'm trying to spread there across to more and more and more people. I really do, which is, I've said before, again, one of my main aims of the channel was to spread interest in the royal family, particularly amongst young people. I really do feel like the royal family have a lot to offer young people. I mean, on the grounds of work ethic and history and how to conduct yourselves and the relationships they have with the charities they support. I think young people have a lot to learn from the royal family, whichever royal family it is that you support, whether it's European royals or the British royals or any sort of royal. I think they have an important. They're important role models for young people. So by sharing the videos and liking them and watching them with your children or grandchildren or friends, it all helps me with my mission for the channel. So thank you for anybody who does share and comment and all the rest of it. Thank you. Vivian says, I really enjoyed your coverage of the royal family in Canada. I thought it was top notch, very informative. Thank you, Vivian. I'm really pleased that you enjoyed it. And like I said, I'll be doing the same for Prince Harry's tour. Nancy says, has Princess Anne recovered from her illness? Of course, there's been no official statement about it, but she has been seen out and about doing engagements. So yes, I think she's over it, and like the workhorse that she is, she's back to work and doing royal duties. I think it must have been just a really, really bad viral cold that she caught when she was in Russia. Could have even been some kind of a pneumonia. Again, there was no details released particularly on it, just that she was ill. But don't worry, she is back to health and back to royal duties. It'll take more than a bug to keep Princess Anne down, definitely. Just a you might be interested to know. My local hospital was first built and opened in 1989, and it was opened by Her Royal Highness Princess Anne, and it's actually called the Princess Royal Hospital. And she has been back since to open a new women's and children's unit, so she's been back to our local hospital at least twice since its opening in 1989. Unfortunately, I couldn't be there to see her. I was at work. But I would really have loved to have been there. But I did see all the local pictures that were in the newspapers. Okay, Nancy says, what did I think of Annie Leibovitz's, I hope I said that correct, portraits of the royal family? I think she is a true artist. I really love the way she composes her pictures and the way that, I mean, I'm not sure whether she puts some kind of filter on them or whether it's a sort of lens that she uses, but she really gets detail with the colours, and the way that she executes her work really is an artist. And I really love it when Annie Leibovitz shoots the Queen. I think she's, excuse the pun, shot the Queen twice now. The first time, I think it was 2005, roughly. And there was a bit of a furore about when Annie asked the Queen to remove her tiara. And the Queen had obviously put her tiara on and fixed her hair around it, so the Queen wasn't too happy to be asked to remove her crown. But I think basically when the Queen saw the results of the pictures, all was forgiven, because she was invited back to do the 90th birthday portraits. Just in case you don't know, those were the pictures of the Queen when, probably the most infamous one is the one where she's on the steps and there's all the corgis. Again, I've included that picture in one of my videos on the Queen's corgis. So go back and watch that video and you'll see the picture. Again, amazingly artistic, dramatic portrayal of the Queen. So I think she's an excellent photographer, and I would love her to photograph me. So Annie, if you're looking and you want to take a picture, I will strike a pose. So good question. Yes, I really do enjoy Annie's work. Nancy says, I agree with everything you've said. She's an amazing artist. Yes. Vivian says, will Princess Charlotte become the Princess Royal? And why wasn't Princess Margaret the Princess Royal? That title isn't always used. It's one of those titles, a little bit like Prince of Wales, that's not always used. And sometimes it's just not chosen. And also, it has to be out of use before it can become in use again. So it's one of those titles that's upon death is returned back to the crown, which can be given out. So Princess Margaret wasn't designated the Princess Royal because I think it was always meant to go to Anne. So probably if the Queen hadn't had a daughter, it may have been conferred on Princess Margaret at a later date. It doesn't have to be a title that a child has from birth. It can be given later on in life. In fact, Princess Anne wasn't always the Princess Royal. It was conferred when she was an adult. So obviously, Princess Charlotte would have to wait until the title was returned back to the crown upon Anne's death before it could be conferred upon Charlotte. Although I'm sure in the future that title probably is earmarked for Charlotte, but nothing official has been released on that. Margaret Young says, hi from Australia. Hi Margaret. Love your work. Why is the Duchess of Cambridge still referred to as Kate Middleton in the general press? This is my look on the referral to her as Kate Middleton. I absolutely hate it. I detest it. I have no idea why they still do it. I would love to tell all of them off for doing it. And she was never Kate anyway. She was always Catherine. They just do it because it's easy and everyone probably knows universally who she is. It's lazy journalism. And I would never ever call her Kate Middleton in my videos. She's always Catherine or Catherine, the Duchess of Cambridge or the Duchess of Cambridge. So yes, I absolutely hate it, and I don't know why they do it. It's wrong, they shouldn't do it. It's lazy journalism, and I have no time for it. That's what I think about that. But also, I don't like it when they call her Princess Catherine. She's not Princess Catherine, and she's not Princess Kate. You could refer to her as the Princess William, because technically she is the Princess William. However, just the Duchess of Cambridge will suffice. It's pretty much the same way that Diana wasn't really Princess Diana. She was always Diana. She was always the Princess of Wales. And later, when she lost the HRH after the divorce, she was Diana, Princess of Wales, which is the style conferred to divorcees who have held titles of that they've acquired through their royal husbands. The same way that Sarah was Sarah, Duchess of York. So Margaret, good question. I have no idea why they still do it. I just wish they'd stop. Do we have any other questions? Thank you for watching so far. If you've made it this way and you've not said hi, then please feel free, don't be shy, say hello. Again, leave your questions in the chat box below. I will endeavour to answer all questions, no matter how big or how small, or even if it's just a simple hello. So yes, we've had some really good chat so far, and the questions that have managed to get through, we've had some really good questions. So thank you very much for tuning in. So Vivian, I hope I answered your question, and Margaret, I hope I answered yours. Okay, so I have nothing else on my list that I've got to tell you about that's upcoming, or any comments on the videos I've had before. So it really is down to you now and your questions. Take this opportunity to ask me whatever you want. Oh, I did buy a new book a few days ago about Queen Victoria. I spoke about it last week, but if you do get a chance to watch the TV adaptation of Queen Victoria, please do. It really is a really good piece of television. And I did buy the book to go with it, the sort of a proper biography of Queen Victoria's life, which I'm really looking forward to reading once I finish the Diana book. Vivian Martinez says, do Prince Charles and Camilla have pets? To be honest, I think at Highgrove he has like some farm animals and things like that, and he has so many houses all over the place that having a particular pet like a cat or something would be quite hard to keep taking around with you when you have a busy lifestyle. I believe Camilla keeps horses. So I suppose you could call... I mean, horses are her hobby and her passion, very much like the Queen has horses. And if you watch one of my videos, I think I spoke about the Queen installing a new £100,000 horse walker on one of her stud farms. So the Queen's very into horses, Camilla's very into horses. I don't think they have dogs or cats, but probably some sort of animals that graze on some of the estates that they have. So they've probably got some livestock and certainly horses. Camilla loves her horses. And of course the Prince plays, well, he did used to play polo. He doesn't now because of his bad back, but he's always ridden horses. Siam Moon says, hello, made it, and I agree about Catherine, Duchess of Cambridge. Yes, I'm glad everyone does. No Kate Middleton. So yes, back to pets. I don't think they have a specific pet. Like, we know that the Duchess of Cambridge and Prince William have Lupo, the dog, and we know that the Queen has lots of corgis, and she's down to her last corgi and last 2 dorgies. Dorgies are a corgi and dachshund cross, so she has 2 of those left and just 1 corgi. So again, very sad news for the Queen. She did lose her female corgi who was called Holly. I did do a video on that, so if you've missed that video, go find it. It's all about the Queen's corgis, and particularly the death of Holly, which must have been very sad for Her Majesty. Okay, Margaret Young says, does the Duchess of Cambridge really have to curtsy to Beatrice and Eugenie at their insistence? It's said that they do not get on. First of all, there is an order of precedence within the royal family, and the Queen did issue a formal issue of precedence, and basically it goes this way: if Catherine is with her husband, Prince William, then she does not have to curtsy to Beatrice or Eugenie. They have to curtsy to her. If, however, she is on her own in the presence of Beatrice and Eugenie, it's expected that Catherine curtsies to them upon greeting. Now, this all sounds rather strange to non-royals, but to the royal family, it's normal. They all do this. They all curtsy and bow to each other in the correct order of precedence. So at the top of the tree is the Queen and the Duke of Edinburgh as the heads of the family. Next is the Prince of Wales as the heir to the throne. Now, there was some confusion around whether Princess Anne should curtsy to Camilla or not. Now, the Queen did issue, she sort of redid the order of precedence, and it was said, again, that if Camilla was on her own and she met Princess Anne, then Camilla would curtsy to Anne, or Anne would always go ahead of the Duchess of Cornwall in a line. So, for example, entering a room, it would always be Anne in front of Camilla. However, if Camilla was with her husband, Charles, that would not be the case. It would always be Charles and Camilla who went first, and Anne who would curtsy to Camilla. So I hope that's answered your question, and this precedent sort of goes on all the way down the family depending upon what rank you are. It's fairly complicated, but basically if you're with the rank goes by your husband, and then obviously if you're with that person alone, or if you're with them as a couple. So hopefully that sorts that one out. Beatrice and Eugenie, I don't think they don't get on with the Duchess of Cambridge. Of course, Eugenie's gone to live at Kensington Palace, albeit in a different section, but she's still gone to live in the same area, so I don't think those rumours are true. But certainly the order of precedence is sort of very firm within the family, and to them it's not strange. They just do it as a matter of courtesy. So hopefully that's answered your question. It is a little bit tricky. I could actually do a video on that properly to explain it, so thank you, Margaret, you've given me an idea for a new video. Okay, Siam Moon says, love all your videos and information you give out. Thank you. I quite like being able to give out the information, because otherwise it's just stuck in my head and doesn't really go anywhere. So I really like the fact that I'm able to deport some of my knowledge and put it into the videos and put it out there, which was part of my YouTube channel mission statement, is to sort of spread the word of the royal family and get it out there. So again, thank you all for watching. I really appreciate that. I really appreciate your support week on week and video after video. I really appreciate your comments, and I really appreciate when you share on social media, because it helps me to spread the videos out there. I do always try to go on after a video and update my Royal Reviewer blogspot. I've got Royal Reviewer Twitter, I've got Royal Reviewer Instagram, and Royal Reviewer Facebook. So I always I always update the videos to those, and I always then go onto Facebook and post the videos in the different groups and pages relating to the members of the royal family. So hopefully that spreads the word rather. But I could always do with more help. So if you've got a spare 5 minutes, just press share on some of the videos, and hopefully we can spread the word out there even further. Nancy says, I see you now have over 3,000 subscribers. Congratulations. Yes, it's now standing at something along the 3,050 mark. I'm absolutely astounded that it's ever got that high, and I'm really happy that it has, and that over 3,000 people have now felt happy with pressing subscribe, and hopefully most of those come back regularly to have a look at the videos, and hopefully they really enjoy them just as much as I enjoy making them. So yes, I'm really, really happy, and I would love to get to at least 4,000 or maybe 4,300 by Christmas. That would be a short-term aim. So again, it really helps when you spread the word. So thank you very much for all of your continued support. I really do appreciate it. Do I have any other questions? Oh, Margaret says she looks forward to seeing my video on the order of precedence. I really must add that to my list of videos that I want to make. By the way, my list of videos I like to make is getting rather long. So there's always something that comes up that's an immediate news story that pushes all these ideas back further and further. So I've got a real stock of video ideas that I really do want to get through at some point. So hopefully, when I have my Christmas holiday, I'll be able to go back to that list and execute a lot of those videos. Okay, Vivian Martinez says, when Lord Snowdon received his title, did he also get an estate or a castle to live in? No. The only titles that come with the land and the castle are the ones that go back hundreds and hundreds of years. Any title that's been confirmed sort of recently, unless the castle or the land has been an inherited title, if it's one that in recent years has been given out by the Queen, then it doesn't come with any land. Basically, Princess Anne was given her own land, but obviously her husband didn't get any titles, and Princess Anne refused it. Margaret had her own homes, but it wasn't the massive acreage of estate, and it certainly wasn't any huge castles, and it certainly wasn't any titles that were passed down for generation and generation that are very historic titles. Pretty much the same way that when Prince William was made Duke of Cambridge, he wasn't given a castle, and he wasn't given lands, because those lands and castles and mansions weren't attached to that title. Everything had returned to the crown, and it was only the title that was given out. But obviously, upon marriage, Prince William did receive the apartment at Kensington Palace, and he received Anmar Hall. So again, not massive estates, but certainly really, really nice homes to live in, and a lot more manageable. Because when you think about it, if you have to run these huge estates, you need vast amounts of money to keep them going. And if you don't open them up to the public to get that money, then they're just